Hey y'all, it's Vanessa with Farmgirl Gardens and Market, and today I'm getting my spring onions in. So onions, while they can be grown from seed, in our region of north central Texas, zone 8, it is actually best if you can start from sets. And so sets are these little bundles of basically pre-sown onion seeds that have been allowed to bulb out in the commercial nursery, and then they're shipped and sold to your local commercial nursery or box store as a set. And so what this is just a bundle of dried onions. These are actually 10-15s, which do really well in Texas. They love the clay soil, which is good for us because that's what we have a lot of. But I did want to go ahead and show you, these are, when you get them from the store, they are pretty dry, and that's fine. The onion bulb is actually living off of the energy in this bulb. But what I like to do is, while I'm getting my row ready to plant, I like to actually go ahead and let them soak in a bucket of water. I do keep them bundled so that just the roots are getting submerged in the water, and this is something you want to do quick. They don't need to be soaked overnight. If you were to oversaturate the bulb itself, it wouldn't be good for the onion. We're really just hydrating the roots right before planting. Now, another thing that I like to do is row planting, and that's so basically I'm creating a mound. Let me see if I can show you here. I'm creating a mound, and in this mound is where I am planting the onions. Now, because these are a bulb vegetable, you're going to want to make sure that you're planting them with enough space. If you have an abundance of space, the best thing for you to do is go ahead and plant them at their full maturity size, which is about every 4 inches. If you don't have space, you can plant them tighter than that, but what you're going to want to do is selectively harvest every other onion as they come into maturity, so that you're leaving gaps in your row for this bulb to bulb out and form that really large bulbed head that you want to use for your cooking. Now, all parts of the onion are edible at all parts in the life cycle. Many people will actually harvest the greens as the bulb is growing, and that's just fine. You're not hurting the plant when you do that. You wouldn't want to harvest the entire green, because this is how the plant is harvesting sun energy through photosynthesis to continue to bulb out. Now, what I do recommend doing, onions are a hungry plant. Even though they really do well in clay soil, they like some food at the time of planting. And so since we were just earlier, in the week getting our tulips in, I'm just using my bulb tone. This is an organic bulb and flower food. You certainly don't need to use this product if you have organic compost or just some good organic soil. You would want to add a little bit of nitrogen in as you're planting, but you certainly don't have to go out and buy this specific product for this. I just had it on hand, and it's a good one. It is a little bit difficult to find in stores. You can find them in specialty nurseries, but I will post a link to it because it's always available on Amazon. Now, as I mentioned, I did go ahead and create my mounds or my rows, and then what I've done is I've sprinkled over top the bulb tone. And so when I go in here to plant these onions, I'm actually just going to be mixing this in to the first couple of inches of soil before I'm patting my mound down. And then I'm going to come in, and with my finger, or a lot of people like to use just one of these little landscaping stakes. I like to use the flat head size. This is a good activity for the kids if you want to get them in on it. But you're going to do every 4 inches, just make a little indentation. Now, the reason that you wouldn't want to just stick the bulb directly into the soil is because that pressure is going to force the roots to go up, and that's not where they need to be. They need to be down. Another thing is that you don't want to bury this past the neck. Really, we're just trying to bury it to the roots, and that is again because if we compact that soil around it, the bulb is not going to be able to have the space and the freedom to get larger. And so truly, we are really just burying this tiny bit of root. Now, since I've got these hydrated that have been hydrating while I've been speaking, I'm going to go ahead and pull out what I want to use. One thing I do want to mention, if you have a bunch of onions to get in and you know that you're not going to get them all in at one time, go ahead and try and find the smallest ones and plant those first. The reason for that is that, again, this plant is staying alive through the energy stored in its bulb. So the smaller the bulb, the less energy it has, and the less resilient it's going to be to just sitting on the shelf somewhere. Now, this time of year in Texas, Onion sets are already out in the stores. I know that North Haven has some really good onion sets available, so go ahead and check out North Haven Gardens if you're a local. And I believe that Johnson's Feed in Louisville either has them or will be getting them within the next few weeks. So once it comes down to planting, go ahead and space your onions however your particular grow space allows, and then make sure that you're only burying in the root. And so what I like to do is, once I've mixed my bulb tone in, just come in and kind of pat it in, and that's really just sitting on top of the soil just like that. For this guy, I'll put him right here, same scenario. I will go in and water these after I've planted them, but onions don't like being overwatered. So kind of the rule is knuckle deep. If you stick your finger in knuckle deep to the soil and it is moist, then that is sufficient for that plant. And a couple of other things I did want to mention. When you are purchasing your onions, you either want to get them in within the first 1 to 2 weeks that you have them, or you need to put them in a paper bag and put them somewhere dry and dark, like a cupboard, just so that they are not trying to put out energy into growth if they were exposed to light when there's no soil to feed them. So that is all that I've got to say about onions. I hope that y'all are making good plans for your spring garden. I know that we are certainly going gangbusters here at the farm. We got our tulips in these back rows earlier this week, and I am knee deep in an onion field. So I hope that that is helpful. I hope that you look forward to finding your onion sets at the store, and until next time.